Hello everyone, this is RaySpace and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12, where I continue to mess around with Starship, doing things that would definitely not be Elon Musk approved. Apparently the 12-meter version might actually be Elon Musk approved, so we were holding off on that, and I'm doing worse things instead. Well, I mean, they have mathematical reasons for them being done. They're not completely off the wall. In this case, we have a tripropellant version of Starship. So this has methane, hydrogen, and oxygen instead of just methane and oxygen. And we're going to see whether that has any benefit. I previously introduced tripropellant engines, and we have those. These are the LE13s, proposed as an upgrade to the engines on the H3 by Japan. Those are just hydrolox. And the benefit there being that if you add methane, you get more density. So then you can pack a bit more delta V in the same tanks. And so right now they're using the LE9s, and this was proposed as an upgrade. But you get the reverse situation with Starship, right? If you use these engines, then you've made Starship lighter. Right now, Starship is fully fueled with the methane, hydrogen, and oxygen, but because of the low density of hydrogen, it is now only 937 tons, even though it's still carrying a 100-ton payload. So we've got a payload in there, and yeah, that's one thing. But if you are lighter and you have less propellant, then can the improved efficiency of the engines, we now get 409 seconds of ISP in vacuum, can the improved efficiency make up for the fact that you have less propellant? And that is a good question. Now we have identical engines on all 6 slots. We don't really need more thrust weight ratio, I don't think. We're at 0.98 when we separate. We might need, we might not need. These are actually more powerful than Raptors, and that's because they're more sea level optimized. So they have larger nozzles than the sea level Raptors, but smaller nozzles than the vacuum Raptors, and they're overall larger. They're 2.6 tons, 3,000 kilonewtons. So they are a little bit heavier. But, well, what's going to happen? I don't know. We're just going to let the script run and I'll find out. Okay, here we go. Should all be automated. We are wobbling quite a lot. Even though this is not a normal Starship anymore. So technically the Super Heavy would get further out, so that's a bit of a problem because the Starship is lighter. May have to make adjustments to how much fuel it reserves. But for now, we'll just see where we're at. And off we go. Alright, we have staging. Okay. Oh, I guess it didn't get the center ones. Come on. That's why that looked a little bit iffy. So again, 409 right here. Not great. Probably should give them bigger nozzles, but then the center ones are gonna be in trouble if I do. And the thrust weight ratio is not nearly as bad as the VAB made it look. And that's because we're lighter than the normal Starship. So it's actually a 2.24 thrust weight ratio right at the start here. It was only showing the outer 3, I think. But it's really tight to orbit here. I don't know if it's gonna make it with 100 tons of payload. Now, plus side, if we actually made this longer, or made it 12 meters in diameter, let's say 12 meters in diameter, because longer sucks, but 12 meters in diameter, then we'll have more propellant, and it'll still probably be 1,300 tons. You know, we were starting out at 900 tons. So with a 12-meter one, we'll just about be getting up to the regular Starship's mass, and this will get much more delta V. But right now I don't think it's making orbit. We'll see how much we fall short. Still, honestly, I don't think this is a viable option. Worth a try, but I don't think this is the scenario where the tripropellant option is good. And these were meant to start out tripropellant and then get more efficiency by changing mode. There's a pure hydrolox mode, but that's really only for something that starts out hydrolox and then the methane sort of gives it a boost. Then it doesn't need boosters. The goal was to have the H4 rocket, the successor to the Japanese H3, not need the boosters necessarily, or have instead pure liquid boosters. So we're ending about 400 meters per second short. So not good. If we take a look at this as an estimate, if we want 400 meters per second more, we're talking about 72 tons payload. And that's not acceptable. So yeah, either we're going to have to make Starship bigger, or the tripropellant thing is not particularly viable. If we do switch mode midway so that they run on hydrolox, then the amount of hydrogen we need is even more, and so then we need even more volume for the hydrogen, and that doesn't work well with the limited volume that Starship has. So that is the situation with the tripropellant Starship. For once, not a good idea, but worth testing. It was a notion that was worth testing. Anyway, with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.